What's up, guys? I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review. Thank you so much for joining me right here at my YouTube channel. This is where we talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that we'd love to talk about. Movies, video games, comic books, and TV shows. And right now, I'd like to give you guys my review of a new movie called Endangered Species. Now, this movie did go direct to digital. I think it bypassed the theaters completely. I think the original intention was for this to go to theaters. But with COVID and everything happening, this is one of those movies that just kind of got cut from theaters and it went straight to VOD. So this movie is about a family. This family who has a lot of... This seems to be a close family, but when you look at them closer, you find out that they have there's a lot of cracks in this family. You know, there's an overbearing dad. There's a daughter who's very rebellious. There's a boyfriend. The daughter's boyfriend is not particularly well liked by the father. There's the son is homosexual, and how mother and father are dealing with that, for right or wrong. How they're dealing with that isn't necessarily something that the whole family is on the same page with. So there's a lot of cracks in this family. So like I said, while they seem like they're a very tight unit, there's definitely cracks to be exposed and divisions and rifts to be had. So this family, they go on an African vacation. They go to Africa to go on safari. And we learn more about the dad. The dad is a very nervous person, very analytical, very decision-driven, works for a big oil company. You know, they're a wealthy family. But then again, when we look closer at him, we find that there's more going on than we know. And are they really in the position that he says that they are? So again, definitely some dishonesty going on here. So they get on their African vacation, and they're having a good time at first. As these movies always start, they're having a good time on their vacation, and then they decide to take a van and go out on safari, out in a nature preserve. And Dad makes a series of decisions that are very out of character, and first let me say I did like this movie quite a bit, but that's my biggest nitpick here, is that the things that happened to this family had to happen, so they had to have Dad do some things that were out of character. That's really my only nitpick. This was a good movie. So he makes some decisions that are out of character, and he ends up getting his family stranded in the middle of a nature preserve out in Africa, off of the roads. They went off road to go look at a rhinoceros and its baby, and some things happen due to some bad decisions, and they're stranded there now. They're stranded there, and there are hyenas closing in. There is a jaguar that has taken this region as its territory, and there are poachers who are not too kind to people stumbling upon them. So we have a scenario here where there's lots of threats happening, and these threats are stressing this family out to where you start to see those cracks become more like fissures. And there is some violence in this movie. Most of the violence is animal on human violence, especially Jaguar. The Jaguar does some damage, but there is also some human on human violence. Jerry O'Connell plays the lead poacher, and by the way, Jerry O'Connell is married to Rebecca Romijn, who plays the mom in this movie. And by the way, Rebecca Romijn does a really good job in this. Like, I didn't know she had those kind of acting chops, and I guess I should have. I've seen her in plenty of stuff to know that, but for some reason when I was watching this, it just kind of stood out. But Jerry O'Connell plays the lead poacher, and he does some nefarious stuff to this family. So I don't want to get too deep into spoilers here, but I will say one thing. Oftentimes you see in these survival type movies, entire families get wiped out. Everybody dies, or maybe there's one survivor. You see that a lot. I appreciated... Now, there is a body count in this movie. Not everybody in this family survives. But I appreciated the fact that over half of them survived. and that might be a little bit too spoiler for some people, but the type of story that they were telling here involved a family that was broken, and they get remade through this stressful event that happens in their lives. This stress, this trauma brings this family back together. And I definitely thought that that was far more interesting than a family getting wiped out in the middle of Africa. Choosing to tell a story about a family that's fractured, being put in this traumatic environment and forcing to come together and healing their wounds is more of a narrative to me than everybody getting wiped out. Now, like I said, there is a body count. Not everybody survives. But the people who do survive are now a family. And I just felt like that was a really cool way to go about this. Because when I hear the title Endangered Species, now it's not about an animal. It's not about humans. It's about this family. This family is an endangered species. And now we're seeing them get themselves off the endangered species list. So I really liked this movie. I really liked it. My grade for this movie, I give it an A minus. I really enjoyed it. I probably enjoyed it more than most people do. Than most people will. There is some wonky CG. You know, the Jaguar was a little bit wonky at times, but given the type of movie this is, and as good as the narrative is, I was able to forgive any kind of wonky CGI for the fact that this was a very well told story. So that's my take on Endangered Species. What did you think of Endangered Species? Let me know in the comments down below. Have you seen it? Do you want to see it? Have you even heard about it? Let's have a conversation about it. While you're down there commenting, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I put out a lot of content, and I want to make sure that you're up to date with everything that I'm doing. And as always, thank you so much for joining me right here at the LQ Review, where we get to talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that we'd love to talk about. And until next time, we'll see you later.